Hey everybody, we have another HTML and CSS tutorial here, and in the last tutorial is the one about embedded internal cascading style sheets, and if you haven't watched that one, you should look that one over first, because I'm going to make reference to a lot of things from that tutorial for this one to save some time. So remember last time we had this page here, and we created our page, and then we went up to the top and we created our styles, and we showed how to do that. And when we were finished, we had a basic tutorial template that looks somewhat like this here, or looked exactly like this, I should say. So that's kind of where we were at when we left off, and I want to show you something different this time. I want to show you how to do embedded external CSS. And we're just going to use that previous page to show you how this works, okay? So the first thing I want to do here is I'm going to call this embedded external CSS. And maybe you don't want to save it as the same thing as we did last tutorial. I just called mine index.html. Maybe you want to call it something different. That's up to you. But here's how we make this work. Sometimes you don't want to have to copy this style on all your web pages, even though you want them all to be the same consistent identity and to have that consistent look to it. Well, here's how we can embed this into an external sheet that we would put in the same folder, in the same network folder as all those web pages, and then you just make reference to them up in the head section of your web page. So here's how we can do that. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to set up a page where I can include all my CSS information. Okay, so I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to call this, I'm just going to go Save As right away, and I'm going to go down here to CSS, or Cascade Style Sheets file. Okay. And then I'm going to call this one here styles.css. Alright, and I'm just putting this in with my tutorial folder. Okay, so ignore this YO site, that's not for this. But it's in my tutorials folder where I've been doing all the other work at. And I'm saving that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to my index file that I created. And everything, well actually I should type something up here for styles.css. So I'm going to use the slash and the star, and I'm just going to put CSS document for style sheet template. Maybe style sheet tutorial template, we can call it that, by V. Peterson. Alright, put your name there. Okay, so that's my little comment up there, my heading for this, for the top of this document. Alright, I'm going to click Save. Now I'm going to go back to index here, and where I typed out all that stuff for the style for each of these. Remember H1, and what do we want all the H1s to do? Oh, we wanted to change the font family to Helvetica. Oh, what did we want to do with the H2? We wanted it to be changed to Helvetica, but also be red. Remember all that? Okay, so I'm going to Control X between the styles. I don't need the style tags. I'm going to go in here to my CSS. I'm going to Control V, and I'm going to paste. And it's the same formatting, the same style of formatting that we would use if we were typing it as embedded internal sheet. Okay, so we have this on here. I'm going to click Save. Alright, now I'm going to erase these two style tags. Okay, and I'm going to Control S, and real quick I'm going to run this, and we're going to see what our page looked like before we added the internal style sheet in our last tutorial. Remember how plain and boring it looked? Okay, so we obviously don't want it to look like this, so here's how we make this page reference the style sheet of this styles.css that we created. Okay, so underneath the meta character set UTF-8, I'm going to make a new line here. Okay, and in this line I'm going to type in here, see, we're going to need our less than greater than sign, so I'm going to type in link href equals quotation marks styles.css, because that's the relative link for the style sheet that's in that same folder that we just created. Alright, after that I'm going to type in rel equals quotation marks style sheet quotation marks, and then after that I'm going to put in type equals quotation marks text slash CSS quotation marks, and I'm going to put 1 slash here to close this up. Alright, so we have that in there. It's in the head section of our HTML document. Control S, and now let's look at this in Chrome this time, and now we have our styles back. Okay, so this works out pretty good, and it makes your HTML pages a lot easier. Remember how long this document was before when we had to make all those changes and stuff? If you were looking for things, it'd be a little bit of a nightmare, right? So here it shortened it up. It shortened our tutorial down to 46 lines I could look through, and then the only thing I would need to do to change my styles or to change the font families or colors or layout, text align, all that kind of stuff, is I would change it in this document, and then it would make those necessary changes when we run this in Chrome. So you could do this, and then every page in your site, you would just, instead of copying all that stuff we did before, we would just copy this right here, which is referring the HTML to be following these styles. So there we have it. Now, if you've been going through these tutorials, you've done inline style sheets, which we found out takes a lot of time, if you want to do a lot of changes, a lot of style changes. We've talked about the embedded internal CSS, which works good maybe if you're just working with a one-page site or something. But then if we're dealing with a lot of pages, or if you just want to take some of the clutter out of your HTML file, we can create a styles.css and create our own embedded external CSS. So hopefully that helps out. Hopefully this was an easy way to show you how to do that, and allows you to keep finding better ways to create your web pages. Thanks for watching.